Remember the key to success is working hard.
Remember, the key to success is working hard, but do not forget to work smart. We are in the age, the time of smart technology. So we have to utilize that and work hard, but also work smart. I want to welcome you to the hub, and I haven't been on for 2 days or so. My birthday was Friday. So Thursday I wasn't on, and Friday. I want to say I had a wonderful time, though low key, and I give thanks. Thanks to God Almighty, first of all, and all my friends and family and everybody who wish me the best. That is important. Very, very important. I want to start off tonight by encouraging those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. I want to say to the folks who will continue to complain about cost of living and who would try to prey on the vulnerable, the unsuspecting, those who are not well informed about cost of living and cost of living and cost of living. Well, with the war that's taking place in the Middle East, you can expect the cost of electricity to go up. You can expect the cost of petroleum products generally to go up. And that would affect cost of living across the board, the cost of goods and services. So being for one is a good thing. So you now need to take steps or put steps in place to cushion the impact, because it will affect the people here in Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique and the region and the world. So those on the opposition side, the NNP, they love to talk about cost of living, and about mackerel and sardine and what else she had in that thing there? Mackerel, sardine, and something, couple other things. So 8 items. So I'm saying to you, the price of goods and services will increase. I want to play for you some good news because it is important to bring the good news to you. The NNP, they want me and you to only be negative or be bearers of bad news. So while good things are happening, they still want to, continue to make people believe that nothing is happening in this place. So let me play for you some of the things that are happening in recent times. All right. So the basketball court that officially was handed over, and the people of Grenville, St. Andrew, Big Parish, they're excited.
The newly refurbished Grenville basketball court was officially handed over on Tuesday, marking the end of a one-year closure and the beginning of a new chapter for basketball in the parish of St. Andrew. Extensive upgrades were carried out on the facility to improve safety and support the continued development of the sport. The works included resurfacing and repainting of the court, corrective electrical works, installation of upgraded lighting for evening activities, and significant improvements to the toilet facilities and pavilion area. Minister for Youth and Sports, the Honorable Delma Thomas, said she is pleased to officially return the facility to the community after numerous calls for its restoration. She also commended the support of Cabinet in making the project a reality.
I'm happy to be here tonight to see us now having the facility available, not only for the young men, but I know the St. Andrew Methodist School, the smaller children also use this facility. And so we are indeed happy to be able to provide this safe space for our children. And so it is more than just the rehabilitation in terms of the work that was done. So yes, we rehabilitated the court and we removed the old synthetic track. We also did some rehabilitation work at the pavilion. And as Minister Andrew said, we want to thank Mr. Patrick Simmons for starting the work in developing this facility for St. Andrew. And we want to thank the entire government for providing the funds. Because you see, as a minister, I can identify that there's a project needed to be done based on consensus from all of us from St. Andrew. But if the entire cabinet decide, well, no, we shouldn't do that, we should do something else, then it means we may have some issues. So I want to thank the entire government, the entire cabinet for providing the support for us to develop our facility in St. Andrew.
Sports coordinator Curlin Peters highlighted Grenville's proud basketball legacy and underscored the importance of proper maintenance and responsible use of the facility.
Basketball in St. Andrews is a big thing, man. You talk names all, Schoon, Dwight York, Sincere, and many others. We have, I said, Dwight Gibbs, and many others that passed through, that I have looked at, Patrick Simmons, and many others. We have host Windward Islands games here, right here. So I know that first thing I asked Mr. Sincere, what are you planning for competition? And he told me that he have sponsorship already. All I wanted to tell him, don't leave all the Ministry of Sports in that. They have sponsorship ready. We bought 3 balls for his committee, to get it going. So we are very happy to be here tonight. I'm very happy. And as one of your colleagues mentioned, this is yours. Let's take care of it. Let's correct when we see someone doing something wrong. Let's take care of defense.
Representative of the Grenville Basketball Association, Gerard Sincere, expressed gratitude to the minister for championing the cause of basketball in the parish and for the timely completion of the rehabilitation works. He also reminded users of the court of their shared responsibility to take care of the facility.
On behalf of the basketball fraternity and the Grenville community, we say thank you, Minister. However, refurbishment is only the beginning. The real work starts now. Across our island, one recurring challenge remains the proper management and maintenance of sporting facilities. Too often, we celebrate the opening of a facility only to watch it gradually decline due to neglect, lack of structured programming, or unclear accountability. We cannot allow this to happen to this facility. We should not allow it. This court must be protected. It must be respected. It must be programmed. To the young people gathered here today, this space belongs to you.
Yeah, and I think it's a very good point he raised. Maintenance. The facilities, you have to take care of them. You have to maintain it. Because if you notice, this government has been on a drive to restore, to upgrade, to renovate facilities that can be a good space for families, for young men and young women to just go and enjoy themselves, doing something positive, playing sports, playing basketball, playing netball, football, just name it. They have been doing a fantastic job where that is concerned. You look from the south of the island all the way up to the north of the island, east and west. They have been renovating basketball courts and netball courts, playing fields. They have been, lighting up playing fields, renovating the bathroom facilities and so on around the playing fields and basketball courts and that kind of thing. This is great because during the nighttime, if you're observant, you would realize that you have night cricket, you have night football, You have night basketball. I mean, they have things happening during the night. And Grenadians love that. They love to come from work, have something to eat or so, and go and watch a nice game. So again, I want to applaud the government of Grenada. You would not hear the NNP talking about these things because the NNP, they were never big on sports and upgrading facilities and maintaining facilities. But this government is doing a fantastic job, a wonderful job where that is concerned. They're not getting enough credit. They're not getting enough kudos, enough applause for what they continue to do for, sports generally here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So NDC, take a bow. And I love to see the facility, but this gentleman made a very valuable point. We need to maintain it. We need to take care of it. Don't let it run down. Because during the NNP time, they never saw maintenance as important for nothing. The roads, nothing. We can go on and on. They never saw it as important. So I really want to applaud the NDC administration for that. Then we have the lights, the solar light project that continues.
Mr. for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams, announced that government has successfully installed 1,000 solar-powered streetlights across the Tri-Island state. The announcement was made during a post-cabinet briefing where the minister described the project as a major milestone in the government's national energy and community development agenda. Officials say the project has significantly improved public lighting in both urban and rural communities, enhancing public safety, strengthening disaster preparedness, and reducing the country's dependence on conventional electricity for street lighting. According to Williams, the solar lighting initiative is also expected to contribute to long-term cost savings for the state while supporting national climate resilience goals through the expanded use of renewable energy technologies.
And by this I mean the expansion of the solar street lighting program. Last year, through the dedicated efforts of MIT, we successfully installed just over 1,000 streetlights across communities throughout Grenada. Those installations brought immediate relief to many areas that were previously poorly lit and vulnerable. This year, we are taking that commitment even further.
Minister Williams also announced that government plans to install an additional 750 solar streetlights in 2026 as part of the project's first phase. He explained that planning and procurement activities for this next stage are expected to begin in the coming months, with a focus on expanding coverage to underserved communities and further modernizing public infrastructure across the island.
In the 2026 budget, provisions have been made for installation of approximately 750 solar lights. This represents a significant scale-up of the program because it's just phase one. We plan to do phase two this year also. And it shows the government firm's commitment to community safety and visibility and development. We have also begun installation in parishes such as St. Patrick and St. Andrew. And work will continue in the other parishes as it is phased. Our aim is to ensure the equitable distribution so that rural and urban communities alike can benefit from improved lighting infrastructure. This initiative is more than just lights. It's about improving public safety, reducing opportunities for crime, making it easier for residents to move comfortable at night, supporting small businesses and community activities, and enhancing overall community well-being.
For MTV News.
Big up your whole self there, MTV. That's a good piece. The Honorable Andy Williams there. Look, this is a very, very important undertaking. If you're in the sky, flying, in a plane let's focus on planes, and you look at Grenada during the nighttime, I'm telling you, it's a bit too dark. We need more lights. And this project is a good one because it's solar. We have sunlight I mean, nearly every day in Grenada. So this is a really, really good move, and it will make communities safer. People will feel more comfortable walking or going out because there is lights, solar lights, and they have been doing a really good job so far. You look at some of the beaches, like the Grandans Beach. It used to be dark in most parts on the Grandans Beach. One of the more popular and frequently visited beach, but they lit that nearly everywhere. On the beach, you can see some light that would make you feel comfortable being there. And even if you're there during the afternoon time and for some strange reason you happen to go into the evening, you still feel safe on the beach. You have the Hope Beach. They lit that, and other beaches. That is really, really good. There's some communities, the rural parts, and I see solar lights and so on in those communities, and I feel good. I feel good about it. The government will not get the credit that they deserve for such a project, because to the NNP, all they would spend their time doing is condemning, criticizing, just being negative. They could see nothing good happening in the country. In fact, right now, they're getting an orgasm over William, what's his name? William resigning as chairman of the Lotto board or whatever. They're getting a orgasm over it. I'm telling you, those NNP surrogates, goons, sycophants, and zygotes, you wonder and you ask them, but how is that beneficial to you? What are you gaining from overworking yourself because a gentleman decided to resign from a board? What do you get out of it? And some of them don't even know. They grab these things from certain people who have programs, and they just fixated on this guy, this gentleman, and others, and they just think that this thing would impact them in some way positively by talking about it. And look at the good things that are happening in Grenada. You have communities that were dark, very dark, and they have now lights, solar lights. It's not putting any burden on Grenlec because it's solar. All right, takes in the sun and charges, and nighttime you get light. This is a good project, and 1,000 so far, and they're continuing. They're continuing with the solar lights being installed in certain communities. I know they were in St. Patrick, then they move over to St. Andrew, and then they go in back on the western side. So quite a bit, and then they would go down to St. George. But there are communities, they already put solar lights in those different constituencies and parishes. But it's just that they're intensifying it. So I want to applaud the government. Good things are happening. Good things are happening. And the NNP do not want to acknowledge that, because all they do is major in minors, focus on all kinds of stuff that just doesn't make sense. They would make up stories, concoct stories, and throw those things out. Then you ask yourself, you listen to the Plead Your Cause in the morning on WeFM, and some of these people, they are not too literate, but they give them a script. So they call these programs, right, these different programs, and they may say certain things, and you ask them, but something is happening right in your community that is good. Have you spoken about it? Have you applauded the member of parliament or the government for it, for doing it? Because they didn't have to do Many of the things that are happening, they didn't have to do it. They could have just be like the NNP. So, for example, public officers, when they have to get an increase, bet your bottom dollar, they have to be in the streets with their union or unions demonstrating for an increase in their salary. And then the NNP going to offer them 0.5% or 1%, and then they back in the streets again, and then they may offer them 1.25%, right? Something like that. And that's how they operate. And they kept them in the streets, marching, demonstrating, protesting, fighting for an increase that they deserve. And many of the same people who would go in the streets, protest, demonstrate, many of them are still supporting the NNP. So now the NDC is in power. The increase is just smooth. I saw a release from the government of Grenada highlighting some of the agreements reached with the unions and the workers for the workers to get the increase. We saw it with the police, we saw it with prisons, now we see it with the public service, the public workers union, and GTAW and all the others. And I think Nawasa, it's quite a bit, quite a number of them. I saw it earlier today. And I said, well, under the NNP, you had to be protesting, you had to be demonstrating, and that kind of stuff to get an increase, right? So the Public Workers Union, they reach an agreement with them. They reach an agreement with the National Water and Sewage Authority, the workers there. They reach an agreement with the Grenada Ports Authority workers, St. George's Bus Terminus, and the Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union. They reach an agreement with the Grenada Ports Authority and the Grenada Seamen's and Waterfront Union, right? Who again? Right. But I'm saying that nearly all the unions, so they are sitting and negotiate in good faith. And some people forget what the climate was like under the NNP with workers in this country. Every Monday morning, there was some protests, some demonstration, some bacchanal somewhere. Unions with their members, with drums, bubuzelas, whistle, and so on. But look at what is happening for the workers of the country. Just check it out. There is this easement, there is this calm, there is this peace being afforded. In other words, you have public officers who retired and they live in for longer because they have less stress, less things to worry about because they get in their pension and their gratuity, and they get in their pension until they die. Less stress, that peace. And then those who are working, they know when they retire, they're going to get their pension, even if you're an unestablished worker. You have some form of security or guarantee that upon your retirement, you're going to get a pension. And the NNP condemn government, the NDC administration, when they propose that new pension scheme for the unestablished workers. Thousands of them. They were retiring, and some of them faced the prospect of retiring and going home without a pension. So what the government did, what the NDC administration did, is to give these people and them peace, joy, happiness, and long life. I mean, God is the one that grants life, right? And it's a blessing when you can enjoy your retirement and, you work and you enjoy your retirement, you get your pension and everything like that. But if you have stress, you may not even live to see 65 or 70. But now, government workers can kind of enjoy it because thanks to the NDC, they get in a pension upon retirement. And a lot of those government workers, they are given job security through the regularization process. They're regularizing them, making them permanent. You had a lot of public officers acting like they were in Hollywood. But mind you, I explain why the NNP refused over the how many years to regularize or to make public officers permanent in their roles. Because what they were doing is making them believe every day and every month, every year, that very soon they will be made permanent. But they're not making them permanent. They have them acting. So it was like a game. And then they got loyalty because they were not doing anything to make NNP angry or those ministers and whoever at the time angry, because they believed they were going to get permanent in that position. So they played a game and they became very loyal to NNP. But their status never changed. They never got the opportunity to be permanent and get a better salary and have job security. So that is what the NNP was doing, many of these people. And they became very loyal to NNP, even if they remained the same way, not having security of tenure. The NDC is now giving them that. They're making them permanent in their positions. And still, a number of them would have all kind of bad things to say about the NDC. Because there are some people who don't like good. Plain talk, bad manners. There are some people who don't like good. They like bad treatment, maltreatment. They love it. So workers are happier thanks to this administration. You had the minimum wage adjustment. And you just look at what this government did for the working people of the country. The minimum wage adjustment impacted positively thousands and thousands of workers. I met a security officer. He said to me, he said, security work is sought after now. Sought after. He said he's wearing his security hat and jersey with pride. With pride. Before time, it was a work that people used to look down on. But with the minimum wage, they're no longer getting $4 an hour, you know. They're getting $9.25 an hour, and in some cases, $10 an hour. Some of them are actually receiving. They're happy. And then you look at, you know, bus conductors, laborers, housekeepers, clerks, cooks, gardeners. They're getting a better salary. They're getting a better salary, way better. And these are the things that you have to be thankful for and grateful for. It is important because these things never existed. Even the Imani trainees, they were getting $700 and $800 as a stipend. The NDC administration, the same Imani that NNP, every time they open them out, Imani trainees, and these same Imani trainees were getting $700 and $800 under the NNP. And the NDC came and increased that stipend to $1,200. Those in the Empower program, they were getting $700 as a stipend. Those young men, they're getting, I think it's $1,000 now they're getting as a stipend. And when they complete their training in that program, the grant to start their own liquor business increased from $2,400 to $3,000. So anyhow you look at it, the NDC administration cares about people and they're impacting people. The whole, you know, your living standard, your condition, your livelihood, livelihood, everything across the board positively. But the NNP will not talk about that because it will not benefit the NNP to talk about these things. Every time you hear them talk is some bad news, some bad thing, some bad this, some bad that. That's how they function. But I hope people are counting their blessing, because those things never existed under the NNP. And sometimes you have to sit and say, but wait, the NDC do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. And people kind of get accustomed to it. It's like it was there before, and you get so accustomed that you don't even appreciate it. And then you kind of wake up and say, no, these things were not there under NNP. You never enjoyed that under NNP. NDC is giving you that. And then you hear some people say, well, when the election come on, you go see, I want. And I turn around and say to the lady, couple of weeks ago, and she started talking. I said, but miss, the road that you're walking on to go in your house, NDC fix it. The 2 neighbors close to you, NDC gave them a modern bathroom and toilet facility. And in your house, you have some young people who benefiting from the free tuition policy and the free hot meal program. And next to you, close to you, you have a police officer who receiving $700 more on his salary. And next to you, you have a security officer who receiving not $4 an hour, $9.25. And in your very community, the medical station, the NDC administration upgraded it, renovated it. And in your community, you have a brand new school being constructed, the St. Andrew Anglican Primary School. And in your community, the NDC lit that playing field. And in your community, the NDC upgraded, renovated the basketball court in your community. The community center, they upgraded that in your community. So we can go on and on and on and on. The community have been impacted positively by the NDC administration. And what I love about the NDC, they're not complaining, grinding, and groaning. They're just getting it done. Just do it like Nike. They're just getting it done. And I want to applaud them for that, because people are actually feeling the impact, the positive spin-off from those things. We have to call it for what it is, because those things were not existing. All these solar lights, they were not existing on the NNP. No. And in fact, if you had to get a street light, you had to go and beg them in the constituency office, and then they would write to Grenlec and they would ask Grenlec to, and you take months and months and months and months. Yeah. So we have to be thankful. We have to be grateful to the NDC administration, because it's not just about some big hotel. Because under NNP, it was all about big hotels. And the majority of the people who came here to build those hotels, a lot of them conned the NNP administration and run away with millions and millions of dollars. But that is what NNP saw as development, a hotel. That's what they saw as development, right? So again, another positive news for the people who live in the housing scheme, the Chinese low-income houses. During the NNP time, a lot of them occupied those low-income houses, and some were paying, some were not paying, because they would say the government in power and they don't have to pay. And then they destroyed the facility. Some of them, they mash up this, they mash up that, and housing authority, who were not collecting any money from them, a lot of them had to go and take a loan. They had to go and take a loan to go now and renovate and upgrade and fix the facility. But it's a caring government. The NDC administration is a caring government. So they would do that because they want a better everything for you. And the majority of these people were talking. And yes, a lot of them, they're NNP supporters. But look at who come in and do it for you and fix this and fix that for you so you can live in a better place. NDC. NDC is always to the rescue, always coming to the rescue, always coming and fix this and fix that and renovate this and renovate that and give this opportunity and give that opportunity to this person and that person. The NDC, not the new nasty party.
Renovation work is continuing at several Phase 1 homes under the Chinese Low-Income Housing Program. The works are being carried out at the Frequente, Mount Rush, and Soubise housing sites. Residents had previously raised concerns about structural damage to the buildings, including external deterioration and some internal issues. The Housing Authority of Grenada, the body responsible for overseeing the properties, has since responded to the residents' concerns and has begun addressing the problems. Chief Executive Officer of the Housing Authority, Jason Williams, explained what the authority has been doing to date to address the situation.
It pertains to Phase 1 sites, that is of original Chinese buildings. Our residents there will have seen some uptick in repairs activities started since the last quarter, and those extend throughout all the schemes. So we started and completed, a number of repairs and cracks in buildings across Mongay, the apartment buildings. We've done swapped out all the railings in the Frequency. Right now we're running and we'll be ramping up our railing replacements in Mongay and in Soubise. So that is something that's scattered for. Last year we also did works in terms of the roof repairs. But given that it's a normal maintenance, we also be doing more roof repairs and checking, etc. going forward. As well as for the past year, we've been doing significant work such as plumbing, bypasses, electrical upgrades. But what residents will just know that we also been informing all residents of Phase 1 that I'm done informing that going forward within the month of March, we'll be doing significant uptick in the repair works. What we'll be doing going forward, the authority will be making more efforts, right, to ramp up, I said, some of those repairs, especially internal repairs, right? Whereas, for example, we may have issues with probably, let's say, walls, etc., that we will handle those repairs. Electricals, we handle those things like that.
Mr. Williams noted that a number of internal structural issues have also been identified and are currently being addressed as part of the repair program.
The number of tiles have been lifting off the floor, etc. And what we've done periodically, we go in and take off tiles, etc. for corridors. What we'll be doing will be actually resurfacing. So the intention is to take off all the tiles in all the buildings and resurface them. So we actually commenced some of that in Mongay, and it'll be actually spread out to Soubise and also to Frequency, the Frequency housing scheme.
Williams added that a recurring challenge at the low-income housing sites continues to be the matter of compliance. According to him, some residents have been breaching the rules by harboring animals, engaging in indiscriminate littering, and other activities that go against the housing regulations. He is therefore calling on residents to comply with the rules so that the communities can remain safe, clean, and comfortable for everyone.
What we've been doing and what we started the process is that we plan on relocating all those uncovered drums that lines the road, and the authority, in consultation with the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority and the garbage contractor for the area, we've had meetings, we've did a walkthrough, and what we've done, the fruit of this is that we've now identified 2 locations in which we're going to be actually putting down proper bins. You're going to be relocating all those bins that lines that top road there, and we put them in 2 separate points on the compound. All bins will be fully covered, not exposed, that they have individual lids. They're going to be based on a reinforced concrete plinth, completely fenced around to prevent animals from getting in, and also going to have them covered. We're also going to be putting down baits for rodents, etc., in and around to control it. But in doing all this, we still ask the residents to please adhere to the garbage collection schedule. We do that multiple times in our meetings and letters. We'd say, look, yes, the bins are there, we provide the bins, but that does not give you an excuse to put out garbage at all times of days, right? And please make use of the schedule provided by the contractor.
Yes. So thank you very much, there, Mr. Williams. You're doing a fantastic job. So again, who's coming to the rescue? Who making your living condition better? The NDC? The NDC. And something that has been missing for a lot of years is maintenance. And you're hearing it more and more and more. You need to constantly be maintaining, even if you have to have a special crew responsible for going in those apartments, visiting the different sites, and doing the repairs, doing the maintenance. Because I would see a little hole, let me not say a pothole, a little hole in the road. If you have, for example, a maintenance gang or crew doing the asphalt paving and so on, if they patch the thing early, then the next 2 weeks you wouldn't see a big pothole in that area. So it saves you money down the road. Because I remember years and years ago in St. John, for example, they had a maintenance crew. Public Works, they had a maintenance crew for that area. And regularly, you would see that crew patching and cleaning and resurfacing and consistently so. So it costs government less down the road. That's what you want. You want to have maintenance gangs or maintenance workers doing that, and it will cost government less money in the medium to long term. So I'm happy that they are going to do the renovation, the upgrades, and that kind of thing. But you have to be constantly maintaining and have a period of time where you can have your officers inspect the buildings. Some people believe because they're paying for something, they totally own it, so you can't come in and you can't inspect, you can't check. But when there is a problem, then they call you because you have to do certain things on the compound. If you have people going and check it out, you're going to avoid paying a lot down the road. So it's a good thing. I want to applaud the government, but you will not hear the NNP talk about these things. No, because it will not benefit the NNP if they talk about these things. All right. Let's continue with some good news again. The cannabis legislation that has been assented to. So it's no law. In other words, the Governor General signed it. So it's no law.
Drug Prevention and Control Amendment Bill has now become law, paving the way for several new provisions, including the controlled use of cannabis. After being passed in both houses of Parliament, the legislation received assent from Governor General Dame Cecile Lagranade, marking a significant milestone in Grenada's approach to cannabis policy. Under the new law, cannabis is now decriminalized for personal and religious use, subject to strict conditions. Adults are permitted to possess up to 56 grams of cannabis and up to 15 grams of cannabis resin. Individuals may also cultivate up to 4 plants per household once they have registered with the Cannabis Secretariat and the Ministry of Agriculture. The Secretariat is expected to announce the procedures for household cultivation registration in the coming weeks. Chairman of the Cannabis Working Committee, Attorney at Law Anselm Clouden, explained what the public can expect now that the Amendment Act has been gazetted.
You can carry on you, have in your possession, some 56 grams of marijuana. And you can plant 4 trees per household. The bill seeks to give an amnesty for those persons who would have received convictions for in anything in the vicinity of 56 grams, they would get their records expunged, spent, erased. There will be no conviction recorded in the future against them if they should need to have a record from the Criminal Record Office. If there are persons in prison now, as I have no doubt they are, who was convicted recently before the bill was passed, and before the bill was assented to and gazetted, if those in prison, they would be released once they have in their possession a quantity amounting to 56 grams.
Special provisions have also been included to accommodate the controlled use of cannabis by the Rastafarian community. Mr. Clouden explains.
They can have sacramental dispensaries from which they can plant and they can worship in the tabernacle. In the past, if they were to worship in the tabernacle using marijuana, they too would have been subject to the rigor and draconian nature of the original Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act.
Although the Drug Prevention and Control Amendment Act 2026 is now in force, authorities are reminding the public that certain uses remain prohibited. Mr. Clouden noted that individuals can still face fines if found in possession of quantities exceeding the legal limit of 56 grams.
You're not going to be arrested and imprisoned. What is going to happen, you get what is called a fixed penalty notice. It's something akin to a traffic ticket. And that would mandate that you pay a fine, and that fine, we said, should not exceed $300, was it? Yes. Was it $300? So that the penalty, the whole thrust of pith and substance of the legislation is to move away from custodial sentences for possession or cultivation of cannabis.
Government says the reform delivers long-awaited decriminalization while maintaining safeguards and setting the stage for the next phase of development. Preparations are now underway for Phase 2, which will establish the regulatory framework for a comprehensive and controlled cannabis industry.
Yes, and that is good. I remember we, at the time in Youth for Change, championed that because there were just too many young people going to jail for a spliff. And they would have a record for life. And when they apply for a job, problems. When they try to get a visa, problems. So they became a menace to society over time. And it's a herb. So this is good, and I love the fact that they're expunging the criminal records of people, cleaning their records, and householders or house owners, you can now plant 4 trees. All right, and I think there is certain procedures and so on, but this is good. This is good. If you look at the developed countries, they legalize that thing so long. We are now decriminalizing it, and which is a smart move. You have to do the thing gradually. You have to learn as you go. It's a small nation. And as you learn, because eventually it will be legalized. For now, it is decriminalized. Because what they are seeking to do is to build a cannabis industry where you could make a lot of money out of this and create opportunities, make things out of the cannabis. Because it's not just to smoke a weed or smoke a spliff. But that same spliff or weed that you have can make so much things. It's not even funny. So that is the direction they're heading. So it can create jobs and opportunities for people. If you go to Canada, you go to the United States and so on, the amount of people who are working in that industry, you will be amazed. You'll be shocked at the amount of people who are working in that particular industry. And I remember during the NNP time, they never even entertained conversation about this. When the election time came around, they tried to hoodwink people and make the young people believe that they were going to decriminalize cannabis by going into parliament and play cat and mouse. But for all the years, they never saw the need to pass legislation and, decriminalize this thing, educate people, of course, and free up the herb. They never saw the need because they were backward. The NNP, the New National Party administration, they were backward and outdated. All the countries around them were legalizing cannabis and going into a cannabis industry, developing that industry. We are way, way behind. Way behind. So I am happy that the government has moved in that direction, and we have to support the government because these moves are progressive and forward looking, forward thinking. It's what Grenada needed years ago, but the NDC is not afraid to deal with these very sensitive at times, or at a point it was like a taboo. You can't talk about it. You can't promote nothing cannabis, or I'm telling you, even people who depends on oil, cannabis oil or something like that, or pill or whatever, they just couldn't get it because it was seen as so illegal and so. But I am happy that the NDC is not afraid of dealing with the tough ones, the tough issues, and taking it on. And I think the younger set of people in the country should be grateful and thankful that the NDC is in power. Because what we are seeing, they are transformative. Transformative. So kudos to the NDC. You're on the right path. You're on the right path. I want to again encourage the folks in New York. Big things are going on May the 16th, Saturday, May the 16th. I realize the artists, they start posting the artists who will be performing at that big event. Our beloved Prime Minister, he will give a keynote address, something simple, because it's really an event to enjoy. All right, it's not an event for a lot of talking. Although people would love to hear from our beloved Prime Minister and political leader, but if you understand the gist, it will be a nice, elegant affair. And please buy up your tickets because it's going fast. GoToFet has tickets, Eventbrite has tickets. Buy it up, it's going real fast.
On Saturday, May 16th, Brooklyn will come alive with live acoustic performances from some of Grenada's top local acts, setting the stage for an evening that celebrates culture, cuisine, and community. Set in an atmosphere of refined elegance, guests will enjoy a curated Caribbean culinary experience. The evening will also feature a special keynote address by the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada. This premier fundraising affair promises an unforgettable experience where flavor, music, and purpose come together for a truly meaningful evening. Tickets are available now on GoToFate and Eventbrite. Secure yours early and be part of an extraordinary night.
Yes, so you can get your tickets as we speak. You can go on gotofet.com. You can go on Eventbrite. Again, it's a site, a website. You can go there and you can buy your tickets because the early bird tickets are going fast. Once that is gone, then you'll have to pay a little more. It's think right now the tickets is about 250 US, but over time it will increase. So it's the 16th of May. So you have some time, but you have to buy your tickets now. Buy them up now. We have March, about 11, no, 20, about 21, 22 days, about 22 days again in March. And then we have April. It's about 30 days or so. And then we have May. So roughly about 2 months. Within 2 months' time, the event will be. And I will be in attendance at that event. All right. I see Mr. Killer. I see Terra the governor. He's performing there too. Terra the governor is performing there. Skinny Banton is performing there. Who again? Sakina and the band. They will be performing there too. Mr. Golden will be performing at that event too. Quite a cast. And you just start to see them. They just start to post them up piece by piece by piece. So again, it's a good event. Somebody said there is going to, let me see, be held. Or where it's going to be held. Where is it's at the Arches. At the Arches. Let me get the location for you here. At the Arches. I had the photo, right here. Let me get it for you. I think the Arches, St. John's Place. All right. St. John's Place at the Arches. St. John's Place. All right. Someone is asking, my good friend Noma is asking where it's going to be held. All right. So it's at St. John's Place. It's not defined. All right. At the Arches. Nice. Good. So, Hollywood tickets, they're now available. So go on Eventbrite and go to FET.com. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful night. I will be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m. And we all should be happy. Happy that June the 22nd, 2022, we saw the NDC winning the elections and the transformation agenda started in earnest, and things are happening for all of our people. Opportunities are coming to our people. So let's give thanks. Let's give thanks. And let's support this government. Let's support this government. I know they are working on an affordable housing initiative. So we're going to hear some more about that down the road. But I already like the idea because there are a lot of people who don't want government to give them anything free. They're willing to pay. They just can't pay 150,000 or 250,000. They can't just give you that lump sum. But they're willing to pay if you can, get them this house that cost, let's say, $180,000. But they're willing to pay over a period of time. And if the lending institutions going to give them the money, they have no problem with that at a low interest rates. But they want to be able to rest their head when the night comes. There is a housing need, not just a want. A lot of people need a house. So the government, they will be rolling out something soon. I don't know how soon it is, but so far so good. So far so good. Let's see how it goes. People want to see this government move into the direction where they take away this kind of culture that the government has to give you everything free. Because there are a lot of people who believe that the government has to give you everything free. But it shouldn't be that way. If you can afford, you enter into some kind of payment plan, some kind of arrangement, or you get some money from that lending institution and you take it from there and you pay back piece, something like that. Because the government here, they don't print money. And we don't have oil and gas. Well, at least as of now, we don't have that. We believe that we have it there, but how much is the next thing? So the government is serious about housing needs and addressing that. So folks, take good care and bye for now.